Welcome back to Preparing for the Unexpected. Today we are talking with Federica Marie Rita Livelli about AI and cyber attacks. Federica, great first segment there, talking about cyber attacks and different the intersection between risk management, business continuity, and cybersecurity. You made a mention of IT and OT. Can you define what those are and how we can protect ourselves if they are two different things?
Well, welcome to the Dante Infernos. Well, nowadays, in this very digitalized and interconnected world, we realize that we rely more and more on this system that is IT and OT system. All ecosystem rely on these two ecosystems, and it's very fundamental to protect them because they have in some way different requirements, and they are at the basis of the most important critical infrastructure and ecosystems. And in order to safeguard them, we need to implement some cybersecurity strategy. Namely, we need to consider the network, for example, segmentation, try to isolate, for example, the legacy systems from the rest of the network in order to limit their exposure to the cyber criminals attack, and also program regularly patching and updates. That is something that can protect these two systems. And all the magazine recently gave notice of incident in IT OT system derived from the patching and the updating missing by this critical infrastructure and organization. And it's very important also to implement firewalls and intrusion detection systems, manage properly, assess control with by implementing, for example, multi-factor authentication, and also check periodically who is assessing to what and why. And anytime that there is change in organization, we need to revise all the access management procedure and controls. Also, data encryption is a strategy that could be considered in protecting IT and OT ecosystem, and also carrying out regular security audit in order to verify and address new vulnerabilities in legacy system, for example, and also backup and recovery plans are fundamental. But what is very important, especially with data and their backup, always verify and exercise the recovery plan and the backup plan in order to be sure that everything works properly, because we have to exercise metaphorically our muscle of cyber security during peacetime in order to act properly during war time. And a condition sine qua non is to involve always all organization, scheduling proper training program, exercise, and awareness session. And obviously, when possible, try to modernize progressively all your IT OT system in order to make them more and more updated and resilient. And this can be done progressively in order to manage cost and avoid some disruption that may happen if you carry out this modernization in one shot.
Well, great. That's our cybersecurity aspect
Yeah.
of the show. Now I'd like to change gears a little bit and move to the AI side. And you gave me a few articles again that I read, and there was some great stuff in there. You talk about generative AI. Can you define what that is?
Well, we heard about artificial intelligence in the early 50s, and the artificial intelligence evolved impressively, especially recently. And generative AI is the last type of artificial intelligence that is now very developed and is the buzzword of the moment, suffering a very hype moment. And it's a type of artificial intelligence that can create, for example, new concept ideas like images, videos, and also reuse what this generative artificial intelligence knows to solve, for example, new problems. It is nowadays more and more developed and implemented in different sectors. And according to the specialist of the sector, is going to influence more and more our lives in the future because of the fact that it can improve a lot of advancement in different industries. But as we know, as all the techniques, we need to be aware also of the drawbacks. We have pros and cons with all the techniques, and this happens also with the artificial intelligence, especially with the generative artificial intelligence, because this generative artificial intelligence, as the common artificial intelligence, relies on data. We need to be sure that data are of good quality and represent all the rainbow of our society, because otherwise can bring bias and produce inaccurate or misleading results. That is, we need to be aware of the paradigm garbage in, garbage out. That reminds us to the positivist Austrian philosopher of the last century, Feuerbach, that said that man is what he eats. The same happens with the artificial intelligence. So generative artificial intelligence can be a double-edged technology, very helpful, but we need to be aware of the cons that this technology can imply, and we can exploit positively the implementation of the same in different industry, inclusive the cybersecurity industry.
Now, you mentioned that you've said double-edged sword a couple of times, and you've also used the expression has two faces when it comes to generative AI and cybersecurity. Can you provide some examples of, well, first of all, what did you, if you want to re-clarify what you meant by that, has two faces, but also some examples about the negative and the positive, because you had quite a few examples with both of those. Can you start with maybe the negative?
Well, we have to realize that generative artificial intelligence is neither good or bad, and its impact depends on its use. And artificial, for example, intelligence as a threat is the fact that it can be used by cyber criminal as to enhance, for example, their attacks. Can be used to create sophisticated phishing emails, smishing, wishing. We are plenty of examples nowadays on internet, on the magazine, how can be powerful artificial intelligence in the its negative aspect in the hands of cyber criminal. And these sophisticated phishing techniques are so sophisticated, excuse me the reiteration, that it's really harder to detect these attacking techniques, and to automate it also the process of finding and exploiting these vulnerabilities. And the fact that the cyber criminals can also use generative artificial intelligence to create powered malware that can be change, for example, can change, for example, their behavior to avoid the detection by the traditional security system, or the fact that the artificial intelligence can crack quickly, for example, password. And there is very worryingness nowadays, especially when we think about the quantum computing that is at the horizon, that is supposed to be a very powerful weapon in the hands of a cyber criminal, and make them able to crack down quickly password, although the same artificial intelligence can be used by programming technical expertise to fight the same artificial intelligence, because on the positive side of the artificial intelligence, in terms of generative artificial intelligence, it can be a powerful tool for threat detection and response, because namely artificial intelligence can analyze data lakes that human beings cannot be able of, and identify cyber threat sometimes often in real times. And the machine, for example, learning algorithms can identify also anomalies that the human analyst might miss, and also supporting in faster and more efficient threat detection, and also can be employed and implemented to automate some security measure, because the artificial intelligence driven tools can automate, for example, responses to threat and isolated, for example, affected systems, or applying security patches automatically, and minimizing in this way the impact of a breach. So in essence, businesses are using artificial intelligence, as I said before, to fight fire with a fire. And we need to always remind that all techniques can have both a positive and negative side. And in particular, artificial intelligence should be a strategic lever for ourselves. So a strategic lever at disposal of humanity.
On that note, we've come to the end of our second segment. We are talking with Federica Marie Rita Livelli today about cybersecurity and AI, and we will be right back. If you liked that video, thumbs up. If you didn't like that video, thumbs down. But leave me a message and let me know your thoughts. Of course, don't forget to subscribe. And in the meantime, stay prepared, everybody.